Hello there, my name is Meridian, and in this video today I'm going to be going over how I put together, or DIY'd, I guess, upcycled, I'm not really sure what to call this thing, but my desk, which is actually over here, and then I'll put a picture of it over here. But yeah, so basically I am working on improving the furniture and stuff around my room, because I just haven't had time to really do that. And now that I've kind of started this YouTube channel, I'm kind of trying to be active on social media. I am trying to do things for my closet, my cosplay, and also my room and my aesthetic around me. So yeah, today's video is going to be about my desk area that I work at. So to start with, I'll talk about the tools and materials that I used in this project. The materials that I used for this project included a IKEA tabletop, and then I got some legs from Amazon for the table. It was a funny story because actually the IKEA tabletop, whenever I went to go actually get the tabletop, the legs were always out of stock, and I wasn't sure why. I just know that a lot of people kind of have been using the quarantine time to actually improve their home and decorate and stuff around their house, and the IKEA tabletop and legs are actually a really cost-efficient way to kind of add a table to the room. And so I had the same idea, and so for a while I didn't actually have legs for this table until I found it on Amazon. Amazon actually created these legs that were compatible with the IKEA tabletop, so that's where I got to the legs. So if you're actually trying to also get legs for this IKEA table, you can probably check it out on Amazon. And so yeah, on Amazon I also got white fur, and from Home Depot I actually bought brass spray paint and glitter gold spray paint as well. So those are the materials that I used, and then the tools that I used for the actual project includes masking tape, scissors, a staple gun, and a drill and a hairbrush. And so I'll go ahead and talk about how I used all of these things through the actual process of me making the table. So to get started, the first thing that I did was I went ahead and went to my garage and laid out plastic all over the floor, because I was going to spray paint things and I didn't want it to get everywhere. And then so once I did that and prepared the space, I went ahead and masked off the bottom of the legs where the black part is with duct tape. Masking tape probably would have been better, but I only had duct tape at the time. So yeah, just use whatever you have to kind of mask off that area, unless you want to actually spray the whole thing all the same color, which is also totally fine. The next thing that I did was I sprayed all of the white legs with my brass spray paint color, and then I gave it a generous 2 coats as well. And then after I sprayed the brass color, I went ahead and used the glitter color over it. Funny story was that at first I had only bought the glitter spray paint, and I thought that it was actually gold and glitter in it, and then when I started spraying the actual legs, there was no color in it. It was literally just glitter. So I had to actually go back and then get the brass, do that first, and then spray the gold over it. So here is what it looks like right now with the difference between the gold plus the glitter, or I guess the brass plus the glitter, and then versus just the brass alone. Whatever colors you want your legs to be, you can choose whatever colors that you like and fits kind of your aesthetic and your style. For me, I wanted to have kind of a glam look for my room, and so I decided to go with this gold and glitter kind of combination. After I finished the glitter and it had dried, I went ahead and sprayed the legs with a clear coat of sealant spray, and then after that I removed the tape. So now that the legs are done, let's move on to the tabletop. So to prepare this area, I went ahead and laid towels on the floor so that the fabric wouldn't get dirty, and then I went ahead and laid my fur on the floor with the fur side down and then the wrong side facing upwards. And then after that, I went ahead and placed the IKEA tabletop on the fabric itself so that the top side of the table was on the fabric and then the bottom side of the table was facing upwards. Next, after that, I went ahead and I grabbed the table legs that are already dried from the garage, and then I brought them over to the table and placed the legs into the corners, and then I lined it up with the drill holes so that they were in the correct spaces. And then I kind of hand screwed in all of the screws so that everything would kind of stay in place. Once that was all done, I went ahead and used the drill to actually drill everything in place so that it would be a solidly assembled table. Once the legs were actually attached to the table, I went ahead and lined up the table with the edge of the fabric with a little bit of fabric, inches margin to fold over. And then once I folded over and made sure that that was kind of the correct size so that the fabric can actually reach the bottom of the table over the sides, I went ahead and cut the excess fabric around the edge of the table so that it has about that same margin on all 4 sides. Once I finished cutting the actual fabric, I went ahead and grabbed my staple gun and folded over the fabric to the underside of the table and started stapling around so that the fabric would stay attached. I kind of spaced it out so that I had room to work with the fabric and pull if I needed to, or straighten it out or anything like that. After the initial staples were in place, I went ahead and folded the corners kind of carefully so that it wouldn't be too bulky at the edge there. I tried to lay it flat as best as I could, and then I used my staple gun on all 4 corners. After all 4 corners were secured and the fabric was attached to the table, I went ahead and added extra staples along all 4 sides just to super secure it in place so that it wouldn't move anymore. Once that was complete, I used my hairbrush to actually brush off any of the excess fur, like hairs that were gonna come out of the edges because I had cut it basically. And so any loose threads and fur and hair that I didn't want getting all over my legs once I actually used the table, I brushed it off so that it would no longer be there. Once all of that was done, I went ahead and flipped the table over, and then I just kind of fluffed up the fabric at the top. Note how at the top of the table, the fabric at the top will lay flat, but it is actually loose. If that bothers you at all, like you're going to be using a table and it's going to, move around, or you're moving around objects and then the table fabric is going to slip a lot, you might want to actually spend some time to staple gun the top part to the table itself as well. But I decided that I didn't want to do that because in case I ever wanted to change the tabletop fabric, it would be easier for me to just pull it from the bottom and there's nothing at the top that was ruined. And then secondly, I was just going to put my computer on top and there wouldn't be a lot of slippage and it wouldn't bother me anyway. But that's just something to note in case you try this DIY. Okay, and so now that is the table all complete, and now what I'm going to do in this next part of the video is style it so that I can actually use it for my office desk. So the first things I did was I started with the accessories that I wanted towards the back of the table so that I wouldn't have to kind of like move around it. And so the first thing that I added to the table was my rose lamp and a handmade ceramic vase that I acquired from a friend, and I just placed those on the corners of my desk. Then I started placing my computer and computer accessories in the arrangement that would kind of make sense for when I actually sat there. I'm right-handed, so mine was on the right side, and then the mic was kind of further back. And the last thing that I did was add a couple accessories just to make the desk a little bit more fun and kind of incorporate a little bit more of my style and make me happy while I am working at the table. And that's basically it. This is a table where I work every day, and I think it's really important to have, a fun kind of aesthetic that incorporates your personality and your style, so that especially during the quarantine when a lot of people are still working at home, even though things are going to open up soon, it's just important to have things that bring light into your day, into your routines, and can kind of bring creativity and inspiration while you're working and sitting at the desk for hours on end, at least for me. That's what I do. If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, you can go ahead and subscribe with the button below. And if you would like to follow me on other of my social medias, you can find me on Instagram at umalexer.fanart. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you on the next one. Bye!